back. Terry.
Hey, we are. Here we are. It's radio show number
4.
Number 4.
The Gene Hart Radio Hour. And tonight we have a featured guest, Pilar Mendoza Slagle, who will be talking Feng Shui with us. We also will be talking about men being from Mars and women from Venus, although sometimes I think women are from Mars and men are from Venus.
What?
We'll be talking about twin flames, soulmates, and all that mushy stuff. Terry, Don't you love that mushy stuff?
Well, mushy's good. Mushy can be good.
You know, the moon is in Pisces, and that makes people fantasize a lot or dream of the perfect romantic condition or the divine romance. So I thought it would be appropriate to talk about love in this show.
Well, you know, love, men can express more love if they really try.
I know they can.
Let's just put it that way.
They can.
Okay.
And in fact, they like themselves better when they express love.
Yeah.
And so there are some amazing books on relationships that we'll go over tonight. Also, I'm going to start doing a daily horoscope only for the week. So from one show to the next, you can see the week ahead in the stars and make some decisions to be or not to be as that energy comes down the pipeline. What's really cool about astrology is that you can look at just generally the moon is in Pisces and you can determine how people are going to act under that influence. And the moon moves every 2.5 days into a new sign.
Okay.
So you'll notice that the energy shifts. And of course, I believe that the moon is the greatest thing that you need to keep your eyes on because bottom line, it's the only luminary that travels around the Earth. All the rest of the planets travel around the sun, including the Earth. And so if that's the case, the moon must have a significant role to play on us. And if this is a schoolroom, then that must be a test of some sort. At the emotional level, you remember we talked about having 4 lower bodies, the mental, the emotional, the physical, and you said the spiritual was already taken care of?
Well, the spiritual you bring in with you when you incarnate because it's like you save it from one body to the next, let's say.
Yeah.
And that's why we have 9 months of gestation. You don't have 12.
It's kind of cool. But all those 4 lower bodies need to be mastered. And so the moon, I believe, is what brings that energy down the pipeline because you're 90% water. It pulls on you. And you're not just your sun.
That's a lot of water.
There's
90%.
Like 10 more planets that are pulling on you at all times and creating, you're like this walking, talking antenna.
Okay.
You know, no matter what size you are, there's energy moving through you all the time and you make choices on those energies. And when you get to the point where you can master what's coming down the pipeline that makes you feel uncomfortable, if you can turn that ugly thing into a joyous moment, you're balancing what's called karma.
Right.
And that's the whole point of knowing your astrology is knowing what energy you're dealing with at a given moment so you can make a better decision. And you wouldn't be dealing with that energy if you hadn't already misused it somewhere along the line.
And when it comes down and it feels like it's negative, the best thing to do is say, hey, thank you, God.
Thank you.
All right, negative stuff coming my way. It must be my karma.
No, there's a gold nugget in all your pain. No pain, no gain.
Yeah.
But the moon in Pisces makes us very sensitive tonight, so we'll be very loving and kind to each other.
We will.
And hopefully everybody out there who's listening will do the same. However, by the time you hear this show, we will have moved to Aries. The moon in Aries makes you much more aggressive. So we have the moon in Pisces today, the 19th of March. And tomorrow it's going to move into Aries. And you'll find this weekend you're going to want to do physical things on Saturday and Sunday. Monday then moves into Taurus and it'll make you much more stabilized. It's a good time to go back to work. And so you won't be thinking Monday. Remember, what is that saying? Monday? Oh my God, it's Monday again. I got to go to work. Oh my God.
Well, what do they used to call it? Blue Monday?
Blue Monday?
Yeah. But you know, once you learn the days of the weeks and the colors that are associated with them, it's not a Blue Monday at all. Blue is Tuesday. Pink is Monday.
Yeah, and pink is the color of love.
Pink is love. Pink is Venus.
So anyway, on the afternoon of the 24th, which is Tuesday, the moon moves into Gemini. And so that'll make everybody really chatty. It's kind of funny when you go to the grocery store when the moon's in Gemini. The cashier will talk your head off.
Are you serious? You've noticed that?
When you go to the store when the moon's in Pisces, they totally space out and charge you more or less than what you actually bought. So you should check the ticket.
Oh my God.
So when the moon's in Aries, you're going to bite your head off. So over the weekend, the moon's in Aries. Try to be patient on the 21st and the 22nd. And try not to be too stubborn on the 23rd and the 24th. Try not to talk people's heads off on the 25th and the 26th. And on the 27th and the 28th, you stay home, clean your house, call in sick. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, this is really neat, the way you're doing this.
And then the 28th and the 29th, the next weekend, the moon is in Leo, and it's fun, fun, fun till your daddy takes your T-bird away. Leo energy is so much fun for sports, for going out and just having a good, entertaining time. And it also is a good time to practice gratitude, being grateful for everything that you have and everything that you are. But watch it, because it will encourage you to draw boundaries. If somebody crosses the line, you might roar pretty loud. The good thing about Leos is the roar is louder than the bite.
Yeah.
That roar can scare the tar out of you. Anyway, so the week ahead, on the 30th, Mercury will finally come out of Pisces. If any of you've noticed the last 3 weeks, it's been a kind of spacey out. You might have noticed you were a little bit more sleepy over the last couple of weeks, and you're not clear about what you want to do. Your head's kind of fuzzy. Should I do this? Should I do that? And then you forget what the heck you were doing. So it usually encourages addictions and escaping from reality a little bit. Mercury only goes there once a year, so we're almost through this little cloud or this little fog that you may have felt.
Okay.
And once it goes into the next sign, which will be Aries, you'll find that you're taking leadership. You're coming up with brand new ideas. You're able to get more control, less. You will be tested on patience. I started to say less patience, more control, but you gotta be careful how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, as the moon moves through all these signs of the zodiac, though, keep in mind that they hit the same sign as your sun. And when that moon is in the same sign as your sun, pay attention.
Because the energy really doubled up there, right?
It pulls on that tide high. Again, you're 98% water. The coolest thing I have found in the realm of understanding the moon and its influence upon us, and the fact that you need to think, warning, when the moon is upon you or emotions are upon you, you're not bipolar. Mother Mary in the Catholic tradition is depicted as standing on the moon. In almost every statue you see, she's standing on the moon, which to me is a message. She's telling everyone, hey, get a control over your moon or your emotional body.
Take dominion.
Yeah. Why would she be standing on it otherwise? I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
And since we know that the moon influences the tide, and in a full moon there's more people in the hospital, then we know also that maybe it's our emotions, and our emotions are a pipeline to records that we have in our subconscious that could be things we've done in our past life that were big no-nos, and now here it's back at our doorstep. And the fact that it is able to be seen at your doorstep is the very fact that you feel emotional about it. If you didn't feel emotions or have any feelings about it, you're not facing anything.
Oh, yeah.
And so, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Too much information?
Well,
you ought to see the look on his face.
Well, the thought occurred to me that the police departments could be doing the rosary to keep to keep people out of the hospitals, because that's when things get violent and kind of wild and crazy, right?
Yeah, but I don't think every police officer is Catholic.
I know.
Well, maybe in New York, that.
But Mother Mary's not Catholic.
No, I know that. But,
I know.
And you know that.
But a lot of people think, well, Mother Mary's Catholic. She's not. Anyway.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, it is.
The one thing to be aware of with Mercury in Aries, it is going to go into Aries for the next 3 weeks, starting the 30th of March, is that makes people trigger happy. People make quick decisions. They cut to the chase. They get mad easy. So we may see an escalation of battle, whether it be in the ISIS terrorist or, even in our own backyard of America, people pulling out their guns. And so the purpose of knowing astrology is so that you can master it. But there's another thing that you can do. The most powerful ammunition I believe we have beyond anything is prayer.
Yeah.
And if we're saying prayers on the astrology that's coming down the pipeline, we can actually, because we're sending out energy when we pray, we can actually mitigate a occurrence by sending positive energy to meet that dark energy that's coming through the planet. I mean, there's a head-on collision, but let me tell you, light totally overcomes darkness.
Well, at the time Lech Walesa was doing his thing, in Poland, like, people were gathering in the squares and giving the rosary, and that's what turned things around.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of people.
Well, she's appeared in so many places. I mean, can you think of some of the places she's appeared and given actual statements about things, prophecy? I mean, little kids?
Nothing in particular comes to mind, but yeah, you've got she usually appears to the children.
Fatima, Portugal.
Garbandal.
I mean, I don't know if it's true. I wasn't there, but I've heard that she's left messages through the innocent. And when you're innocent, you're tapping in more easily to your inner senses.
That's it.
And that inner sense takes you to your God. And I guess you can only get there through purity. So kids are pure.
Right.
They hear her.
Yeah.
And they give those, statements. I don't know if you've ever seen kids playing with invisible people before.
Well, children, little children, yeah, they play with the elementals. They see the elementals. They see, which are the nature spirits of fire, air, water, and earth. And they see angels until they are told, oh, you don't really see angels, do you, honey? Come on, grow up. You're just a child, and those are fantasy ideas and one thing and another. So I say, don't discourage your children from, because it'll naturally, the veil will kind of come down, so to speak, so that they can deal with hardcore things in time and space.
What do you mean veil?
Well, so that they don't see the angels anymore.
Oh, I see. So like a concrete wall, brick wall gets in the way?
I guess. I mean, it's strange to say that you don't want them to see the angels anymore, but they'll see them early in life because, it's so transitional.
Because they're pure,
yeah.
Because they're innocent.
Yeah.
I think that's, amazing. And they also have discovered that children remember their past lives.
They do.
At a very young age because they're still innocent. And when you're innocent and pure, you can get into the subconscious, read those records, get all the information you want. And that's why prayer is so powerful, because it takes you to a point of innocence. And if you keep doing it and building on that, then you can get into your own records. And you can be 80 years old doing that.
Right.
Because you become a kid again or a child again.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of cool. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of Moon in Pisces, jokes.
You got a joke for us?
Did you hear about the monk who was having a filling put in his tooth?
I did not.
When the dentist asked him if he wanted Novocaine, the monk said, "No, I can transcend dental medication." Anyway, I saw a note on my husband's office door. Out of body, be back in 15 minutes. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, tonight we have a guest, Pilar Mendoza Slagle, as I said earlier, and she's going to be talking about Feng Shui. So I sort of want to make the connection between astrology and Feng Shui.
Do that.
Because it's such a fascinating, both of them are so fascinating because they're both the calculation of energy, bottom line. And energy is what Earth is all made up of.
So Feng Shui, just if I can kind of throw this out there, is the proper arrangement, I think, of the things in your world, in your life, in your home, in your office, and one thing and another. So how does that tie in with astrology? Explain to me just briefly.
Okay, think about Mars one given day.
Okay.
What do you think when you think of Mars?
Well, you usually think of the red planet,
Do you think of aggressive
War.
energy? Do you think of energy?
Yeah.
And what do you think energy is? Movement?
Yeah.
Air?
Yeah. But when I think of Mars, I think of, I don't know, maybe we've just been conditioned, but I think of more of a red anger,
planet,
a perversion of perfect love,
Right.
which would be pink.
So when it's upon you, it's putting energy on you and you feel a moment of irritation.
Okay.
So basically that's energy that's just moved through you.
Okay.
To me, Feng Shui is energy that's moving through any particular area.
Okay.
But it defines it a little bit. Like there's an area in your house, I think I'm talking out my hat right now, but there's an area in my house where I can make a lot of money. And there's an area in my house where, oh my God, I better stay out of that corner because I'll go bankrupt. So,
Well,
and that's true of all of us.
That's pretty exciting.
But Pilar knows
let's
more
start
than
talking
we
about
do.
it. Yeah.
So we better shut up before we wear our foot in
Pilar,
our
nice
mouth.
to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Terry. Thank you very much, Jean. It's a pleasure to be here with you and share this amazing knowledge that I found in 1996 in Mexico City. And I wanted to share something briefly that I heard. I was in Mexico City with my previous husband, and they invited me to go in and take this workshop about Feng Shui. And I thought it was Chinese food. I said, oh, yes, I love Chinese food. Let's go eat. And I went that morning, and it was a workshop about Feng Shui. And I said, what is Feng Shui? So I said, it was 2 days. And the first morning, 4 hours, is like completely, I was in a different, what would you say, parameter?
Right.
In a different dimension. Exactly. Yeah. And I was just receiving, reading, perceiving, and listening to this amazing knowledge. So then it was easy for me to comprehend. And from there, something happened inside of myself. And even the teacher told me, you need to go and follow this because I was helping half of her class translating and helping to understand the basics. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't understand the basics of what is Feng Shui, so you are going to be lost completely in the whole workshop.
So you understood it basically right from the get-go, from
correct.
The beginning.
Yes, it was just amazing because I never heard it ever.
You must have done it in a past life.
Pretty much. Yeah. I have this lady that is an astrologer. Her name is Jean, and she mentioned it on my astrology that in my astrology I have Feng Shui, and it's part of my astrology. So what is Feng Shui? Feng Shui is the traditional Chinese art of geomancy. The placement and arrangement of a space called Feng Shui is based on the calculating the balance of the qi, interactions between the 5 elements, yin and yang, and other factors. The retention or dissipation of the qi is believed to affect the health, the wealth, energy levels, luck or fortune, and maybe other aspects of the occupants of the people. And what is really what amazed me this knowledge is that when we understand and we place it, we live it, you're gonna have an amazing transformation, not only in the physical, like in your home or in your office, or in your home or your office, but also in your internal life. So imagine this situation: you are in your bedroom, and you, according to how your closet is organized, that's how your emotional body is inside of you. So
I'm going home tonight and
cleaning out my closet.
I'm working on my closet.
So this is interesting because Feng Shui brings harmony.
Wow.
Brings balance, brings the best of you as a human being, as a person, and make you to think and realize that our home is an entity from the point of view that is a living being. Everything has records, like you mentioned it. Mm-hmm. So a wall that is like this house that is being in the market for a period of time and is not selling, is because that property, that house, has a negative records. So what happened is that maybe it was a lot of negative situations in the family, or it was probably a bankruptcy that happened, mm-hmm. or divorce. Something happened. So all those records get caught up, trapped in the house. Mm-hmm. And if we don't apply this silence, this knowledge, this harmony, this cleansing, then we are going to absorb the vibration of that property, of the house, if we move in there.
So, it's true of businesses too. If you're going to go lease a business building and somebody has gone bankrupt in that building, you're going to see the same record happen with the next business. That's true. Kind of amazing.
Wow.
That's true.
So can you do some kind of a clearance on that? You can do prayers, or there's a number of ways to do clearances probably, right?
From the Feng Shui perspective, what we recommend, and this is the master does, is prayer, mm-hmm. incense, holy water, and also we can leave music like, like chants, Tibetans, Hindu.
Gargarian. Oh, I love Gargarian.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And then there is another kind of music that you can leave there. Is like decrease or anything that helps to move that energy. Even classical music.
Yeah.
And also you need to open the whole windows and doors and do this with incense. And if you
What
paint...
kind of incense?
Frankincense mostly. Frankincense mostly is what is recommended.
The 3 wise men, myrrh, frankincense, and what was the other one? Jasmine.
Correct. What it does, frankincense eliminates any negative entities, vibrations, and also pine sol.
Oh yeah, and pine nuts can be roasted in an iron skillet. I've seen that done before too. Yeah.
Sage.
Correct. Exactly. And
how did I know that?
Well, how did you know that?
Secret.
Oh.
And you're gonna need to paint the whole house to change the vibration and remove carpets. If there's carpets, you need to remove the carpets. And then you can call me. Then I will be more than happy to come and help you with the rest.
She did. She came over and got her astrology done in my office, and I said, I picked this corner because I just felt like I can make money here. And when she did she does this little diagram or a blueprint, and she said, "Oh my God, that is the money corner exactly."
Oh, interesting.
So you can feel that feng shui within yourself. You get a feeling about parts of your house where you should or shouldn't do something,
Correct. Every single person, according with our date of birth, we have, they call it the Kua numerology, or Gua. Kua, K-U-A, numerology, or some other people call it Gua, G-U-A. It's the same thing.
Okay.
So what it does is, like, if I know when is your date of birth, like astrology, I get this chart analysis for the Feng Shui perspective, and every single person has 4 best compass direction and 4 negative compass direction. One of the 4 best compass direction, you will be able to find out where is your fortune, money, prosperity, love and relationship, silent knowledge or personal growth, and health. So you always want to work facing your your best compass direction, what they call a Shen Shi, and that means wealth and prosperity from the Feng Shui perspective. When you're sitting facing that compass direction, you are going to be attracting your abundance, your prosperity with the cosmos and with the universe. Because every single person has their unique astrology from the Feng Shui perspective as well.
And abundance comes from the universe. I mean,
correct.
Bottom line, you think you're making your money?
What do you call this chart that you work from? There's a name for the chart, right? That kind of lays out the room or the home or whatever.
Yeah, that one. So I create the personal chart analysis according with your date of birth.
Okay.
And then when I go to your home, according with your home was built, the year was built, finished. The property, the construction was built. So then I go with my Feng Shui compass, take measurements, I'll put that in my computer, and then that property, that call it the chart analysis of your property, of your house. And your house has same 4 compass positive directions and 4 negative compass direction. The worst compass directions is the total loss or bankruptcy.
Ooh.
So I had many clients and many businesses that they were sitting, working there, and they have their offices on the worst compass direction.
Oh, gosh.
And it was a mess in their lives, personal life, and unfortunately on the business. It was very hard to make the business growth. Once we find out we were the worst compass direction, in accordance with their numerology as well, so we relocate people to their best compass direction according with their numerology, for the Gua numerology that I mentioned it. And also in the house, we look for the wealth compass direction. And that person, we're going to move, his desk or office and relocate it. And when we will do all this work, it takes probably 30 hours of work, intense work, because I like to go and move and help things around and work with the elements and the colors and the plants and the water and the fountains.
So
and
you don't
like
just
that.
calculate it. You go in and you actually move things around.
I help them.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's part of having fun with them.
Yeah.
Because when we are moving things around, I explain things to them. Why? So then when that is done, less than 21 days, you are going to see big time results.
That's pretty amazing.
You can come over to all my houses and rearrange them.
So I'm just thinking too, if people are having problem in their marriage or romance or whatever, and things are getting funny, it might be that they're all in the wrong places in their home, and if they rearrange a few things, then they'll be able to get over maybe some of the problems that they're having in a union, right?
Correct. And something that I was, if you have a bathroom in your love relationship of the house, on that particular area, and is the love compass direction for that property, well, there's going to be a lot of marital and relationship problems, and with the whole family too.
Wow.
So bathrooms, fireplaces, stairs, those are the items that we need to be very careful, and we need to treat them with respect. And you never want to activate a bathroom, because the bathroom, what it does, all our energy that we go and take a shower and go to use the bathroom, etc., all the energy goes away. Correct.
Right.
So you
goes
always
down the toilet.
Correct. So you want to keep that area super clean. Just have the minimum in there. Keep your door closed, and then according with the compass direction of your home, I can tell you what will be the best remedy or cure for that particular area. And we can also help the husband and wife of the matrimony of the people to relocate in a different bedroom.
Okay. So how do people get in touch with her? Have we talked about that? Like if...
Yeah, let's do a commercial for you.
Yeah. Do you have something you want to read? Have you prepared anything that tells people how to reach you?
Well, at this present time, if anybody has any questions, they want to get more information, they can always reach me on my email address, with this Feng Shui number 8.
Now spell Feng Shui.
FENGSHUI number 8, New Millennium, NEWMILLENNIUM @gmail.com.
Wow, that is a long email. We're going to have to do that one again.
The reason that we come up with this New Millennium,
our audience is not going to remember that, so you got to say it again.
It's Feng Shui 8, number 8,
Feng Shui 8.
New Millennium @gmail.com.
Okay.
And if you want to contact me directly, you can always reach me at area code 406-224-5146.
Say that again. 224?
Area code 406-224-5146.
Got that?
Okay.
Area code 406-224?
5146. Thank you.
Sounds good.
And speaking of commercials, I think we need to do a commercial for a friendly chiropractor in the Paradise Valley area.
Oh, let's do.
And if you don't know where Paradise Valley is, just go read the Edgar Casey book.
It's about 25 miles north of where we are. We're in Paradise Valley.
South of Livingston.
South of Livingston,
And Livingston
Montana.
is the breadbasket of the world, according to Edgar Casey.
Edgar Casey had some interesting things to say about it. Yeah. And we look out here, we see out the window, we see beautiful mountains on either side of the valley. Well, ladies and gentlemen, are you looking for a good chiropractor in Paradise Valley?
I am.
Or
Definitely.
close by? Then you've come to the right radio show. Call Dr. John Carp, C-A-R-P, at area code 406-333-4204.
406-333-4204.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Dr. Carp has practiced in Montana for 25 years and in Paradise Valley 10. Dr. Carp addresses both back pain problems and metabolic problems.
Woo, he got that word.
Yeah. The musculoskeletal problems he treats include, check this out, Gene, headaches, neck pain, rib pain, hip, knee, and foot pain.
The ankle bone's connected to the knee bone.
Hopefully not just like that, but he also works with metabolic problems, including digestive, glandular, and immune problems. Let me see. Care is also looked at through natural therapies, including kinesiology, nutrition, and detoxification. That number again is area code 406-333-4204. Give him a call today. Your body will be glad you did.
Yeah.
So there we go, John.
Okay, John, this one's for you.
What do you got?
3 monks are doing meditations in a remote cave. 3 Tibetan monks. Can you visualize that? They're in a remote cave doing their meditation. One day, a sound is heard from outside the cave. After about 6 months, one of the monks says, "Did you hear that goat?" Once again, there was silence. About a year later, one of the monks says, "That wasn't a goat, it was a mule." Again, there was silence. About 2 years later, while meditating continuously, non-stop, the third monk says, "If you two don't stop arguing, I'm leaving."
Oh, where did you get that joke?
Even my engineer is laughing.
I know.
Anyway, so let's get into twin flames and soulmates a little bit, all that mushy stuff.
Where are we going to go? How are we going to get into that?
One of the greatest books I have read on love, and believe me, I need those lessons. I think I've broke the record for how many times you can get married in one lifetime.
No, you haven't.
I know, I'm exaggerating. I think Elizabeth Taylor has that record.
I think she does.
I think like 20 times. But every one of her relationships was not an accident. She needed to interact with every one of those men because she had either karma with them or something to balance. And so there's a time when your soul goes stagnant in a relationship where you're not learning, where you're not progressing, and then it is appropriate to move on. Now, she may have decided that she wanted to balance many lifetimes in one lifetime. So that's why she signed up for all those people that maybe in past lives she had harmed. Because usually you marry that person that you need to serve. That's why God makes it such a chemical, amazing reaction when you first meet someone.
Oh, I know. It's like the blinds are completely drawn, You just fall madly
and you
in
can't
love.
do any work. All you do is think about this guy. It's like, oh my God,
I know. And then when they say the honeymoon is over, that's when your karma comes down.
Right.
Okay.
And so the karma is what you're here to take care of. So you want to work and serve as close as you can, no matter how hard it is, during that phase when the honeymoon is over, because that's your opportunity. And if you don't serve and balance your karma, and if you leave that relationship in harmony, guess what?
You're going to come back around and have to do it again.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe a different face, same test.
I see.
Same person.
Yeah.
Can it be a different person, same test? Or
no, it's going to be
usually the same person, same test?
It depends on the individual. Now, there are people that we know that possibly have the same test in the same person.
Right.
But there's also, if you leave that marriage and you go to another relationship, you bring that baggage with you and you have not found the harmony.
Okay.
If you left that relation in harmony. Now, I have been married several times, and I will say that my past husbands and I, God, that's terrible. It doesn't sound terrible.
No.
We are still very good friends.
Well,
very good friends.
Yeah, once you understand. If you have the proper understanding of it, you can still be friends.
That's because I know the astrology.
And
you should never get involved with anyone unless you know their lineup. Seriously.
Okay.
If you're like on a dating service or something.
Like a Match.com or whatever.
Check out the guy. All you need is their year and their birthday. You can look up really quick whether that guy's going to be a stalker, if he's going to be somebody who's dangerous, physically abusive, whatever. I mean, there's so many things that
you don't need the place necessarily.
No, you just need the birthday and the year.
Okay.
The cool thing is that you save yourself a lot of trouble. Although I do sort of believe there's no accidents, so you get in a relationship usually because you're supposed to be there,
right.
And if you're not supposed to be there, probably it won't happen.
Yeah.
Although there is that situation where you make karma. You know, you didn't actually have it before, but then you just made it. So I suppose that's the Adam and Eve story. You know, Eve ran off and ate the fruit, had to go taste that good apple. And I think that's her, you know, going into other relationships and trying.
You think that's allegorical because Eve is the mother and mother is Mater, and they were in the plains of Mater? I mean, I can't think of Adam as being completely sinless. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, it's kind of a different take on it.
Well, in a relationship, you take on 50% of each other's karma, so it would make sense that, you know, Adam and Eve had each other's, you know.
They were sharing kind of a karmic load.
Yeah, and so they made some decisions to go wander and taste the fruit of good and evil.
Yeah.
Whatever good and evil is.
So this was a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people followed suit because they were the leaders and, well, if they can do it, we can do it.
Right.
So you can be in the most amazing relationship and something's missing. What the heck is missing? You know, well, it's the soul memory, I believe, of having been in the perfect Adam and Eve wholeness of a relationship. And I believe that's called your twin flame, your perfect other half that you were created with in the beginning. And you're not with them now because you made karma. You went off to play and you broke the rules. And now you got to balance the rules, get back in the game again, back with your perfect.
And we're
one.
always looking for that perfect other match, that twin flame. And even if you're with a soulmate, which is a soul that is not a twin flame, but is somebody that is sharing a common sort of a something
equally
that you
yoked.
should be doing. Yeah.
You're both working on the same stuff.
Yeah. So you're always seeking that perfect love, you know, that other half.
It's true. And the karmic relationship, the classic karmic relationship is that, oh my God, where have you been all my life? The electricity, the fireworks, you know, I mean, it's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and I think actually twin flames, you know, we all want to be with our twin flame, but I think in all reality, it's not that firework thing. I think it's the companion, friendship, unconditional love, sort of like Gumbadi, you know, like familiar, like you're, you know, there's not that unbalanced, different, I don't know how to.
I don't know.
Come on. He's just nodding his head.
Yeah, but I'm thinking musically here. I'm thinking, you know, some enchanted evening.
Oh.
You know, you may see a stranger across a crowded room, and it's like electric.
Can you sing that whole song, please?
Some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger. You may see a stranger across the crowded room. And then
I love it. The moon is in Pisces.
Ezio Pinza.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't he have a beautiful voice? But anyway, that
have
image,
a beautiful voice.
Well,
you know?
praise the Lord. Thank you, God. Let's make sure I do something right with it. So what are you going to do about this book here?
Well, there's Mars and Venus. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus is by John Gray. Pretty funny book, but it's so true.
I read it a long time ago. Yeah,
I read it a long time ago, too. I can't really remember, except for that I laughed a lot.
Yeah.
And then he wrote another book, Mars and Venus Starting Over, for if you have to go and start over, you got some tools to work with so you can make some better decisions.
Start over in what way? With a new marriage?
A practical guide for finding love again after a painful breakup, divorce, or the loss of a loved one.
Oh,
so if, you know... Anyway, he's an amazing writer, and that's an excellent psychology book, you know, for making your relationships work.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's your second relationship, you need to read it all the more. Then there's this great book that kind of blends off of what we were talking about last week, you know, life between life, life before life, life after life.
Oh, I love these kind of books. Only
Love is Real. A story of soulmates reunited, only they're reunited. Kind of like that Somewhere in Time movie with, what was his name? Christopher?
Superman.
Oh my God. I've watched that movie about 20 times.
And what's her name? The medicine woman.
Yeah. What's her name?
Jane Seymour.
Yeah.
It was a classic. I could watch it right now.
All right. Turn it on.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway.
Anyway, Brian Reese, he's an MD, and he's the one that wrote Many Lives, Many Masters. There's another book on twin flames and soulmates that's my favorite. It's a little pocket book written by Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Have you heard of her?
I have.
She's an amazing lady.
Yes, she is.
So now if you're having trouble getting the love you want, there's a great psychology book called Getting the Love You Want, A Guide for Couples. Harville Hendricks, PhD. And this was a bestseller, 2 million copies sold. But anyway, this is an amazing book. My husband and I actually, it's hard for me to get him to read books. So before we went to bed every night for a cycle, he would read a paragraph out loud and I would read a paragraph out loud.
Oh, no kidding.
And that way we got the information into our heads so we could work on it, So
now, what's this guy's name? Harville. That's an unusual name. Harville. Harville Hendricks, PhD.
I think it's a pretty old book. I think it was written, 90s, 80s, whatever.
And incidentally, for any of these books and these things that we're mentioning, people can, they can contact you and we can give them more source material if they need it.
Absolutely. Just go on to the website, astrologygenehart.com, and go to the contact page, and you just fill in your questions, and we'll answer them in a New York second. And if you want to be on this show because you have a skill or you have a story to tell or you have something to offer, please let us know on that contact page, and we will have you on.
Well, by phone, if you're not in the area, and we'll have you here if you are.
Yeah, we have a phone number, 406-599-3934. 599-3934.
We're having fun.
Yeah.
What do you got? You got another book here.
I got one more. The Proper Care and Feeding of Husbands.
I like that.
Let me have it.
Right.
I see a guy at a trough.
I've been married, 9 years now, and my husband has never been a cook and he's never done dishes until the last couple of months.
He does dishes
because I read
now.
this book, The Proper Care of Feeding of Husbands. If you feed them properly, they will come. If you provide, they will do the dishes. They will learn to cook.
I have a whole thing on doing dishes. It's a meditation. We've got a dishwasher that we have never used. I love doing dishes. I even told a teenager that one time. I got him off to the side and I said, listen, doing dishes is a real fine meditative thing. What you need to do is you just tell your parents you don't want to be disturbed. So if you want quiet time, go do the dishes and tell nobody to bug you. And I don't know. It was just a fun way of being able to get somebody to think, well, who's this strange guy?
Well, when my husband doesn't do the dishes, I will be sure and call you.
Okay.
This book is by Dr. Laura.
Oh, Dr. Laura Schlesinger. You know what? I wrote her a letter one time, and you want to know something? She answered me. It was an absolutely beautiful letter. She had a TV show for a while, and The Proper Care and Feeding of Husbands. Dr. Laura Schlesinger. Okay.
Yeah, there's so many good books on relationships, and it's well worth fighting, to save a relationship. It's well worth studying your psychology and their psychology to save a relationship so that if it is that it's time to come to an end,
right.
And there's times for all kinds of things, and you sometimes don't remember what you agreed to do before you embodied. So the people that you hang out with are the people that are assigned to you, especially the ones that are with you for a long time.
Right.
So if you've done everything that you can and you're still running up against a brick wall, then maybe it's your God telling you it's time, you've got another set of circumstances. I sort of think about it this way. If you get fired from a job, probably a couple of months earlier, you thought about quitting the job and you didn't listen to yourself.
Oh,
you went ahead and stayed. And then when the time for you to be fired happened, it wasn't an accident.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The reason why is to get you into another set of circumstances with a group of people that you need to be interacting with.
Right.
And since you didn't listen to your God, you got to get a kick in the butt to get, on with your life. And the same with marriage. If it's time to be done and the divorce is down the pipeline, it might be that it is time for you to be with another set of circumstances.
Now, what do we say to people that have been raised Catholic that don't believe you should get divorced? I mean, there are a lot of people that believe that, in other words, they're going to be in a relationship that has run its cycle, so to speak,
They
what do they do?
basically make new karma with each other. If you stay in a marriage past the time when you're supposed to go on, and you're supposed to go on, it's not working.
Right.
Even in the Catholic tradition, you basically start making karma with each other again because you're fighting, you're throwing cans of food at each other, you're, whatever you do. And
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
Well, let's bring Pilar into the conversation regarding relationships a little bit and some of the things
Feng Shui.
that she's mentioned here. Do you see a Feng Shui tie-in to any of these topics that we've just covered recently here?
Huge time.
Yeah?
I had clients that are ladies that they haven't been married for a long, long time. One is according with the karma of what we have. That's what we haven't find the right person, or the person comes, but they are not serious in the relationship. And one of that, what I encounter is that every time I go to a home where there are single ladies, they have pictures, beautiful pictures, statues of single women. But there's no couples.
Interesting.
So one of my best friends, she's having a hard time finding the right person in her life.
Right.
But she hardly have any picture you can name, nothing on couples. So she's in a certain age now, and she's like, oh, well, okay, I'm freaking out now because I need to find the right person. I don't want to be by myself. What am I going to do? So I went to Feng Shui her apartment. Sorry, she lives in San Diego. Anyhow, after we Feng Shui her home, her bedroom, the living area, according with her compass direction and the southwest compass direction of her apartment, and we activated with couples and some other items. Less than a month, she was finally dating this man that called her 6 months ago, but never called her back again. So he wanted to be serious now, and they start dating. And the interesting part is that he was going to become a priest in Mexico. He decided not to. Of course, that happened like 15 years ago that he decided not to.
Right.
But he's Pisces and she's Cancer. And you have no idea the beautiful relationship that they are having. Once she was able to read some books, work with her psychology, acknowledge the karma that she had with men, that she was really mad about men for circumstances that happened in her life.
Okay.
And then we activate the love compass direction of her apartment, her bedroom, and her living area. And by God's grace, now she is finally in the right track.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Now, instead of having pictures of single women, she could have had what kind of pictures? Pictures of couples, like a statue of David,
Correct.
For instance.
Yes. There is a beautiful picture. They call it the twin flame picture that I gave it to her.
Uh-huh.
There is the book of twin flame that you mentioned it. And then she put a picture of you can even put items like 2 hearts.
Oh, like kind of like a map. What is a treasure map?
Treasure map.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Cool.
Exactly. And if you want the fidelity of your future partner, you can place a pair of dogs. They call it love dogs.
Dogs like
Love
DOGS, like bark bark.
Patos.
Ruff.
Dogs.
Rough.
No, not dogs.
Oh, okay. What?
Ducks. D-U-C-K.
Oh, ducks.
Oh, ducks.
Quack quack.
También hablo español. Patos.
Okay.
A pair of patos, or dogs.
Right.
Dogs. Oh my goodness. And and because what I mean is they bring fidelity to the relationship.
Ducks do?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I've never heard that before.
Yes.
Ducks. Of
Anything
all
that is in
creatures.
pair. I even have somebody that say, would you mind if I put on my relationship corner on my living area, because I have a lot of people who comes, can I put a pair of dolphins, because she loves dolphins and all the
Dolphins, yeah.
And I said, of course. And anything that works, anything that your heart is telling you, your soul is telling you,
So you mean like have 2 of everything?
of pair. And
Like
the
Noah's Ark
southwest.
there. That's another reason why the unicorns didn't get to embody in this time, because they were so rebellious. They were by themselves all the time, And everybody that went into Noah's Ark was 2 by 2.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Is that really? I mean, they were always
read
by
it.
themselves?
yeah, they were kind of wild.
We talked about that in a previous show, how they they didn't get on the ark because of rebelliousness. Yeah.
Yes, I heard it. Well, if you take care of your southwest compass direction of your home,
Right.
Southwest is represented by the motherhood, is represented by the earth element, and also by the matrimony and relationships. Southwest compass direction of your home or your bedroom or your living area.
I think we're on the north side.
Let's talk about that after tonight.
That's wonderful to be able to see how
a relationship goes.
Yeah,
or to be able to have control of it somewhat, to change the energy, to change the force field, and correct.
Yeah.
That's
a real testimonial to the power of the Feng Shui.
I have many, many testimonials for many people, not only in U.S., but I work with Mexico City and Guadalajara and many other cities. And this lady that I was mentioning, that she was in her 60s, and I give this tip: go to a wedding, try to get the bride's bouquet.
Oh, the bouquet. Try to catch it.
And if you catch it...
Do not hurt anybody in the process.
I say, if you catch it, go and put it on your southwest compass direction of your bedroom. And she did it. Wow. And after 3 months, she got engaged.
See, you never get too old. 60, you can still get married at 60, 70. I went to a wedding of a woman she was 80 and the man she was marrying was 84. So, I mean, as long as there's life, there's opportunity.
I know. Isn't that sweet?
I know.
See these... Like in a nursing home or something like that, these people are 95 years old and they're just both in a wheelchair, but they're just loving each other and they're getting married. Aww. So there's always opportunity to balance that love, isn't there?
Yes. Love. There's some angels of love.
There are?
Yep. Samuel and Charity.
Okay. So they're on a pink ray, right? Well, Samuel and Charity.
Ray. What do you mean by ray? Ray, light. They are light. They're pink light.
Yeah, there are 7 major rays.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you meditate on the pink light and put it in your heart, you will find that your heart chakra grows and is warm and fuzzy.
What's a chakra?
Chakras, those little spiritual centers that you have in your body. There's one on your crown. You know where your baby, where that soft spot was when you were a baby, and it pulsated. Then as you get older, it gets kind of hard. But that's a chakra. It's called your crown chakra. It's yellow. It's beautiful. And then you have your third eye chakra. Okay. It's green.
And that's located?
Right between your eyes, a little bit above.
A little bit above.
And what that is the mind's eye. You've got your 2 eyes that you see the physical, but the third eye shows, all the other things.
So you can close your physical eyes and visualize something through your third eye.
Right.
Okay.
And then you have the blue throat chakra.
Yeah.
And, if you put your hand on your throat, you can feel it vibrate. It's kind of amazing. And that's probably the hardest one to control.
Sounds like listen to those Tibetan monks. Don't you just love them?
I just love them.
Okay, so that is one of the hardest ones to control, is what comes out of your mouth, how you use your voice. People create more karma just by their throat chakra.
That's right. So it's the one you want to control, get a handle on. Don't let anything that's foul come out of it. No foul words, no more cussing. Sorry, you got to be done with that. Can't gossip about anyone, got to be done with it.
Dirty jokes?
Dirty jokes. Oh, well, I don't like dirty jokes, but I like these jokes on that, like what I just...
Yeah, these funny jokes.
Yeah.
There's angel humor.
Okay. Angel humor.
Yeah. So kind
words.
Then in the center of your body is your heart chakra,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of separates everything on the upside from there. Is what would you call that?
Those are your higher chakras, and in the realm of karma yoga, you want to bhakti yoga. You want to raise the kundalini fire from the base of the spine, which is your sacred fire, to the crown. Okay. The reason for doing that is because your upper chakras are really where all your attainment is. And if you want abundance in your life, if you want joy, if you want happiness, you've got to be working with the upper chakras. If you're working in the karmic state, you're going to be in your solar plexus all the time, stressed and worried about, what does he like me? Does she like me? I don't think she likes me. I don't think he likes me. That's the solar plex. Oh my God, it tells you every negative possible thing that you can...
Yeah. Well, so So the next chakra down, then you've got two between
solar
the
plexus,
heart.
where your soul abides, is right there in your stomach area.
Right.
And the soul has so much pain and so many records from so many lifetimes, and all it wants is you to hug it.
Yeah.
And it's like the inner child. If you've studied psychology at all, they talk a lot about the inner child, the inner being.
So that's your solar plexus.
Solar plexus.
Right
Wherever
under
you
the
feel
heart.
stress and worry, just stop for a moment, breathe, and hug yourself,
Count to 10.
I know that sounds crazy, but
Yeah.
just give yourself some love, because you can't love anybody else unless you love yourself.
That's true.
And then you have the base of the spine chakra, the white chakra,
well,
down
you
at the
have
bottom.
the seat of the soul chakra.
Yeah, that's kind of. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the next one
Sorry.
down before the base of the spine. So
Right.
tell us about the seat of the soul. Is that where the soul incarnates? Right there. That's where there is conception, and I believe that's it.
Where the womb is.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, the base of the spine chakra is powerful. That's where all your rocket fuel is. You want to graduate from this planet, you need that light, that rocket fuel to do it. And the only way you can absolutely get the mastery of that rocket fuel is to stay pure, as possible.
Right.
Of course, sexual energy is what I'm talking about. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
It's a form of, and it's very misunderstood in our world. It's very misused in our world.
Well, there's so many temptations to misuse the base of the spine chakra. Let's put it that way.
I mean, there's balance in everything. I'm not saying you should be, some people are celibate. Andrew Carnegie made millions and millions of dollars, and he really promoted celibacy in his work because he felt it cleared his head. He could think clearer when he didn't engage. But there's a point where everybody does need to come together in the sense of creating children, and
right. That's how we get here. That's why it's important to allow.
So all of us can't be celibate, but there are periods where you should practice, because it helps you raise the Kundalini fire. It helps you think clearer. It can actually get rid of depression, all kinds of forms of indulgences in worldly, negative states. If you're a negative thinker, you might want to. Anyway, you can work with these chakras through sound, the science of sound, which we talked about last week a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I wanted to go into, just, little comments about it, is calling to Archangel Michael for protection. Archangel Michael is an angel that will protect every one of your chakras. You can have him stand before those chakras so that you don't misuse them. It's very easy to misuse your chakras because it feels good to release light. So Archangel Michael is my hero. He saved my life about 1 million times. And he's given me a witness 7 times. I wrote a book about it. It was just amazing to me. I have to tell you this quick story about Archangel Michael, and that is, I was driving down a highway on the way to do a seminar, and I do something that a lot of people don't do. I'm a multitasker. I can drive and read the paper at the same time.
Oh boy.
And I've done it
no-no.
so many times on deserted highways, of course, and I know it's a no-no. But, I think I get kind of cocky sometimes and think I got connections in high places, which I do. But in this particular situation, I really got into the article and I forgot I was driving. And I looked up, and you got to understand this happened in like a second. But I'm on the side of the road, and that mile marker was right in front of me. And I looked at my instinct was to look at the speedometer, and I was doing 70. So I don't know what happened. I immediately turned the wheel and got back up on the highway. And the next thing I don't remember what happened between that point and being stopped on the side of the road with my car facing in the opposite direction.
Wow.
And this police officer, highway patrolman, was running up to my car going, "Oh my God, your car almost tipped over. I don't know how in the world you got it back on 4 wheels." He said it looked like something had pushed it back, because when I swerved onto the highway, I tipped my car. I mean, I should have flipped.
Right.
And he said I defied the laws of gravity. He saw the whole thing. He was blown away. And right at that moment, it's like this blue electrical, I don't know, I don't have the words to describe it, was before me. And a very loud voice said to me that the reason that they were able to intercede for me was because I called to Archangel Michael every day. It was Archangel Michael basically saying that. So there's this little prayer I do, and I want to say it on the radio. I'm dying to say it. So
say it.
I'm living to say it, I should say. And this is what I say to Archangel Michael every time I get in the car, every time I go anywhere. And I know you know this too, so you're welcome to say it, Pilar. I know you know it. But it goes like this, and it's kind of like a child chant. It makes you innocent. It's a little poem. But when I say it, I visualize Archangel Michael with all my chakras, with all my feeling, with all my love, because I'm so grateful to him for protecting me all the time. So anyway, this is what I do. Sometimes I will actually make a call before. When I say a call, I'll say a little prayer, because you protect me, the car, everybody on the street, everybody out there in the world, whatever's on the news. I'll just call to Archangel Michael to go into the situation, whatever it is. And I'll be specific about what I want him to do. And I'll always say, in the name of Almighty God, I call to Archangel Michael to protect me while I'm in my car, driving down the road, and protect all other drivers that are in the car, so that there are no accidents this day, this moment in time, space. And then I'll go into Lord Michael before, Lord Michael behind, Lord Michael to the right, Lord Michael to the left, Lord Michael above, Lord Michael below, Lord Michael, wherever I go. I am his love protecting here, I am his love protecting here, I am his love protecting here. So you're saying Lord Michael before, and you're seeing him standing before you. You're saying Lord Michael behind, you see him standing behind you. And to the left, to the right, beneath, above, all around you. The thing is that angels travel on energy. If you think of an angel, he's there in a New York second.
That's so amazing.
I mean, because they don't have physical bodies. They can travel on thought. Thought is energy.
No time and space.
It's amazing.
So if you're in the middle of an accident happening, even, you can say, Archangel Michael, help me.
Right. Yeah, just cut to the chase and say, Archangel Michael.
Yeah, Archangel Michael, help me. And he's instantly there, and he's already doing it.
He is my hero. Amazing. And, it's angels are amazing. We talked about Chamiel and Charity a little earlier. They are the angels that tend the heart and bring out the love in us. And you can call to them too. You can make a call like, in the name of Almighty God, help me to love. I feel hard-hearted right now. I want to not feel that way. How can I love? And I tell you what you become is what you're going to attract. And if you want a relationship that's loving and kind, you need to become loving and kind, because, honey, you ain't going to get it unless you do that.
Honey, you ain't going to get it.
You're going to get trouble if you don't.
And, there are these etheric retreats over various places on the planet where these beings congregate, or they have palaces of light, let's say. And Chamiel and Charity are over St. Louis, and right over the arch. Yeah. And I had an opportunity to play there one time, and it's very interesting.
What do you mean play there?
Well, I performed there back when I was doing the nightclub circuit.
Oh, yeah.
And what's interesting is we were only there for 2 weeks, and it was not a very good gig. Let me just put it that way. But I felt like, after looking back on it, I felt like it was a setup for me to be able to go and spend a couple of weeks under Archangel Chamiel and Charity's retreat.
Cool.
Yeah. And it only, did
you feel them, or did you, did you tune into them, or did you?
I think I was kind of aware of them at the time. Yeah.
Anything special happen?
I don't remember anything special happening, but I always, whenever I think of Chamiel and Charity, I always think of how grateful I am that I had a chance to spend 2 weeks right there underneath their, in the force field of their retreat.
Right.
There's
a great book.
We played a club called The Garage.
Oh my gosh, The Garage.
So it's got humor written through the whole thing, but it was a cosmic setup.
There's a book called Masters and Their Retreats. If you want to understand what an etheric retreat is, or what a retreat is,
right.
Why higher beings of light, that book just says it all. So Masters and the Retreats, I think it's by Elizabeth Clare Prophet and a lady by the name of Anise Booth.
It's a wonderful book.
It's
profound.
It's
bedtime
profound
reading, you know what I mean?
No
just read 2 or 3 pages of a master.
And if you want to feel a master, go to the Tetons in Wyoming, the Teton Mountains.
Right. The Grand Teton Range.
The feeling there is beyond words. just look at that mountain. You will feel the presence of something beyond human. I'm not kidding. And I had the pleasure of going to Banff last summer, Banff, Canada. And you get the same thing, only it's a little bit different of a vibration, but it's very powerful. Right. And they say that's where Archangel Michael hangs out, is in Banff. That's where his thing is.
Let me ask you where Kuan Yin's retreat is, because I wanted to talk a little bit about the time you and I both spent time in Kansas City. And when I was an art student at the Kansas City Art Institute, I think there were only 160 students there at the time. Right across the street was the Nelson Rockefeller Art Gallery. Right. And so I went over there one day. I think we probably had an assignment, to take these large newsprint pads of paper and charcoal. And I went over and I sketched Kuan Yin, that beautiful Kuan Yin statue that's there.
They brought her over it's 1,100 years old, that temple that's there of Kuan Yin.
Is it really?
It is powerful. I used to go there and just, when they have security guards walking around the art gallery all the time, and I'd go in there and do ohms, because there's, it just bounced off the walls, and it's so cool. I love those Tibetan ohms.
So I got to know Kuan Yin before I got to know Kuan Yin, so to speak,
She's it's like, she represents mercy and compassion in the Eastern tradition, like Jesus represents being our brother's keeper here in our Christian faith. So she's does the same job as Jesus, only on a different, subject, compassion and mercy. How bad is compassion and mercy needed on this planet?
And is she a bodhisattva, one who could have taken off but decided to stay with the planet?
Till every single solitary one of us, that's you and me.
That's amazing.
Passes our test and graduates from this planet, which is the goal of life, to make your ascension, to graduate from this planet. But Kuan Yin she's so big there. How big would you say that statue was?
I don't know, but it's
there's a special feeling in there.
Is it like 12 feet high or something like that?
And it's up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And she's powerful.
She's got one knee up. She's kind of resting an arm on the knee, and it's just absolutely.
You feel her. You feel her presence. It isn't that the statue is her. It's that she can use the statue as what's called a talisman, and she can make people feel her presence from heavenly realms down here on the physical.
So we talked in a previous show or two. We talked with a little bit of a teaser that we were going to cover Kuan Yin, chakras, and chocolate. The only thing we haven't talked about is chocolate. And I don't know a lot about it, but I do know that it can clog the chakras.
Yeah,
is that true?
It's true. It's so popular. It's so popular.
What can either one of you say about chocolate that you know?
Chocolate is something that coats your pituitary gland. Your pituitary gland is the gland that gets you to your higher self or your God. You want to see God face to face. That's the door that you have to go through in the realm of your body. And chocolate clogs it up.
Okay, how about you, Pilar? What do you know about it?
It's interesting because I'm from Mexico City. I grew up in Mexico City. I'm Spanish, hablo español. And you grew up with cocoa all the time because the Aztecs, they used that cocoa with chocolate to make chocolate and use it in many dishes. We use it in mole.
Oh, wow.
So whoever speaks Spanish, they're going to understand what I'm talking about this traditional ancient dish, which is mole. And if you go to a Mexican restaurant, you will know about it. Anyhow, the interesting part in me, I hardly ate chocolate in my entire life. Even though I born in Mexico City, I never felt attracted to the chocolate. So I will eat the mole dish when it was, big celebration, but that's about it.
I see.
And when I find out about the information and knowledge behind the chocolate, I was grateful because I hardly eat chocolate. I do like that.
You sort of tuned in that it's something you shouldn't do.
Yeah, So that was pretty interesting. But I do like, one in there. I like to eat a little bit of chocolate, and especially when it's cold, you make hot chocolate from Mexico City. But
how about carob? We can replace chocolate with carob. It tastes.
I never
kind of the
heard
same.
that until I moved here in Montana.
Oh, really?
People use it, and I was impressed because it really tastes
like chocolate.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very, very close.
Carob cookies. No sugar. Sugar is the enemy of anybody who wants to stand face to face to God.
Oh, I know.
I'm sorry to say that.
With that.
But
I'm working on it.
You want to quit sugar, just do a 24-hour fast or a 48-hour fast. Just, cleanse your body, flush it with lots of water and lemon.
Are there things that you can do, natural sweeteners other than sugar?
Yeah, stevia. Stevia is not bad. I mean, first time you eat it, it's like, it's not sugar. But the second time, it kind of tastes like sugar.
How about xylitol? Is that made with stevia?
Is that okay? Yeah. I don't know xylitol. What is, that's in gum, right?
Yeah, and it comes it looks like a sugar. You can get it. But anyway, Jean.
I use maybe. Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta wrap it up.
This has been fun. Pilar,
fun.
Thank you so much for being with us today. We learned a lot about Feng Shui, and we hope people will get in touch with you.
Well, we'll have you back again.
Thank you for having me.
Talk some more about Feng Shui, because that's what this story is about. This radio show is about astrology, and the calculation of energy, and Feng Shui is a very close, other half of astrology. We were talking about 2x2, Feng Shui and astrology. You do both of those things and you've got the answers.
So we don't have any bumper music, and all we can do is just go da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom.
Thank you, folks, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks so much.
Thank
God
you so
bless.
much, Terry. Thank you so much, Jean.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you.